This is your Module 3 overview. So in this chapter, you're really going to start getting into your research and defining your research question, which ultimately helps you do your research. So the key piece of that is using PICO. And PICO is also the same, kind of crosses over with your IV, your DV, your independent variable, your dependent variable. And then this module will also talk through your assignments. So your learning materials, there's a little info on PICO up here, but then there's also this nice visual of what PICO means. As you start to get into your research, you're going to use this quality criteria checklist, which is from the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics. It's what they use to determine if articles are quality or not. And that'll come into play in Module 4 when you have your first research check-in. So PICO, like I said, crosses over with independent variable and dependent variables. And then there's some tools on how to use PICO to help you search. But ultimately, when you search, you could filter with the patient, but you're going to ultimately search using your intervention. So that could be one of the diets like Mediterranean, ketogenic, et cetera, et cetera. You don't have to have a comparison. And then with the outcome, I mean, ultimately you're deciding what the outcome is going to be when you apply this diet. So if it's weight change, if it's reduction in cancer risk, just kind of consider what ultimately are you trying to measure at the end of all of it. This module, you're also going to be doing a small group project. And the goal of this project is really to help you see how you can all come up with a group research question. You're all going to answer that question. And then at the end, you're going to come up with a group answer to that research question. So you're basically doing as a group what you're going to do individually. So if you haven't worked with groups before, this just explains how to do that. You can click on your groups tab over here. See, I'm on your side left. And then it talks you through each step. So do this sooner than later. There's also a video that explains how to find your group members. Instead of a discussion post this week, you're going to meet with me to talk about your research. So I've decided to do it this way instead, just to kind of head off any potential issues with your research. So I find that sometimes students are going in a different direction that maybe they shouldn't be going with their research. So you're going to click on this document here to go to the Google Doc, and on there it explains everything that you need to be prepared to discuss during the call. Ideally, you're going to share your screen and we can work through PubMed and just play with some different search terms, look at some different articles, and just really make sure that you're on track. But that's how you'll get those points. With this, I've uploaded all the Google Docs into our shell, but you typically have to be in Chrome to be able to access those. So it's just not working right now for some reason. We have a normal quiz, just like we have. This one, though, you're going to have to find this article. And then within that, you'll identify like the IV, the DV, all of the different variables. This is where you're going to review the assignment for the apple cider vinegar project, and then it talks through the steps. But ultimately, every person in the group is going to need to submit the link to your Google Slides, which you'll do as a group, and your personal PDF full text article that you used to answer the research question. So every group member has to submit something. And then you can see the grading rubric down below here. You'll also do a peer evaluation for the group project. So just be sure that you're contacting your group members in a timely manner, and that everyone is added to the Google Doc and everyone kind of knows what's going on. So task-oriented communication is what you're scored on and commitment to the group. And that is it for Module 3.